ふいです。こんばんは。今日はですね、これもこの前の手術芸に続いて、サマーセールで買いました。スタンリーパラブルっていうゲームですね。これ、すごい、不思議なゲームって聞いてて、ハーフライフ2っていう有名なバルブのゲームのモットーらしいです、もともとは。すごいなんか、変わったゲームで、なんかそのストーリー重視のゲームだって聞いてたんで、まあ、ちょっと僕英語わかんないんで、なんとか日本語訳されないとできないなーって思って、日本語訳されたら買うのになってツイッターでつぶやいたら、フォロワーさんがもうされてますよって教えてくれて、実際それをURL 辿って入れてみたら、日本語化したので、今回やってみようかなということになりました。すごい楽しみです。やってきます。なんかすごく不思議なゲームだって聞いてるんですよね。うっすら概要は知ってます。記事とかをすごい興味があって、もう結構前から読んでたので、知ったのはね、どれぐらい前だろうな。1年、2年はいかないかな。1年何歩前ぐらいですかね。記事を読んだ限りすごい面白そうでした。
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
427番。
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order.
何その仕事。
This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.And although others might have considered it soul Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
この仕事のためだけなのに個室なんだね。すごいね。おお、スタンリーしやすい。
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour.When he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his
動かせますね。職場の人がいなくなっちゃったみたいな感じで言ってますね。移動は WSD でこう移動するのと、マウスで、視点移動。スペースを押してもジャンプはしないですね。これ429番の人の。何もできないですね。同僚はみんないなくなっていました。会議室に行くことにしました。はいはい。会議室はどこなの？あ、電源切れた。あれつけられないもん。会議室どこなんだ？なんか紙散らばってますね。なんかみんな避難しちゃったのかな。
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference.
どのようにしてもストーリーの進展はない。なんかムカつくよね、これ。そう言われると反抗したくなる。みんないないですね。すごいね、一人ずつ個室なんだね。この会社すごいな。海外ってずっとこんな感じ？基本的に。なんか誰かがここでコーヒーでも飲みながら話をしてたよな。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
ドアが2つある場所に来た。彼は左のドアに入りました。うるせえよ。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
休憩室に寄りたかったんだよ。そうそう。
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
ただ立っていました。なんか立ってたらなんかあるんですかね。
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
そうだね。
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
左で最初に開いたドア。ちょっとテキストが速くて見てらんないですね。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
左に入れって言ってたんですね、今。なんか裏口来ましたね。なんか注意文みたいな。Do not jump from the cargo。ジャンプすんな。カーゴリフト1000ドル。for the jumping。なんか罰金って意味かな？多分。
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not sure, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets what he wants to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
どっからだこれ。あ、自分の部屋から。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
あ、閉まっちゃった。トゥートゥトゥトゥトゥ。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
これ見てる方うすうす気づいてると思うんですけど、この語り部が喋ってくるじゃないですか。こいつがいわゆるなんていうかこう行き先を指示してくるんですよね。自分が行動する前に。で、それをこう逆らうことができるんですよ。それに対して、こういうリアクションをこいつが取ってくるという。
Wow, yes, this room. What a beautiful,
さっきと同じ
but
ですね。
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
今度は落ちないでちゃんと乗
Look,
ってきましょう。
Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
君の敵じゃない。
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this
そっ
time.
かそっか、ごめんね。
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by
そして言う
yourself.
こと聞けと。
I'm not asking for me,
彼女
I'm asking for her.
誰彼女彼女って誰だよ。
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to
名誉
redeem
挽回する。
yourself.
仕事を脇に置いて彼女をその人生に迎え入れ直そ
To
う。
let her back into your life.
彼女って誰だ。
She's been waiting.
もう彼女は待っていました。どこで？なんかどんどん工場の方に入っていっちゃって。真っ暗だ。おお。
That's her, Stanley. You
彼女
need
です
to
よ、
be
ス
the
タン
one
リ
to
ー。
do this.
彼女に手を差し伸べるのはこうするのは君じゃなきゃならない。
Place your faith in
信頼を
another.
ことの電話を取ってくれ。
Then pick up the phone.
電話を取らないとどうなるのかなっていうことが気になりますよね。抜いちゃう。あ、抜けた抜けた、コンセント。電話取ってないよ俺。あ、そうだよ。電源抜いちゃった。
chose incorrectly.
あ、そうなんだ。
I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Practice.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
わかったわかった。あれでしょ？正しい選択肢をとにかく選べと。バカにしてんでしょ？お前はそんな言いなりになるのが嫌なのかっていう強制を今受けたわけですね。はいはいはい。レンリン。はい、僕も改心したから改心したよ。はいはい。どうすればいいの？どうしてほしいの？どうしてほしいの？いや、戻ってほしいの
？Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
飛び降りれないように柵つけられて、俺さっき柵なかったよね。チキショー。柵つけられたよ。 なんかムカつくな、ああやって自動ドアみたいにここ入れって言われると。きしょー。柵つけられた。あそこ行ってみたいよね。超気になんない、あそこ。分かったよ、戻りゃいいんでしょ。はいはい、戻る。うん。何、どこ行けばいいの？どこ行ってほしいって？ちょっと、ガイドさん、どこ行ってほしいの？持ってきたよ、休憩室。
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left.
君は左のドアを選択するでしょう。
The story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
どういうこと？左のドアへって。左のドア？どこ？開いてないよ。どこまで戻んの俺。来た。
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would.
まあ俺を、フェイじゃないとね。
Always putting the story first.
ストーリーを。なるほど。指示に従えとね。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
左のドアに、はい、わかりました。はーい。
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other
なん
direction.
かあ
Perhaps
そこ
we're
の部
not
屋
too
荒れてるね。
late.
これ何あんの？ここ。なんかさっきと部屋の形変わってるね。あ、絵もなんかちょっとぐちゃってなっちゃう。ごめん、冗談だって。怒ってる？ティーン。開かないのかな。ついにあいつ何にも言わなくなったの。なんだよ、入ればいいの？ここ入ればいいの？入ってほしいの？左入る？もうしょうがないな。はい、入ったよ。これでいいの？これで満足？あ、なんか白い。
It's ruined. I can't believe after everything we talked about that my story, you've destroyed my work.
なんで言うこと聞いたじゃん、最終的に。
What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now.
だんだん口悪く
What
な
am
る。
I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it?
ごめん、もう
My
言うこと
story
聞
is
くか
now
ら。
incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do?
メンタルがやられ始めちゃう。ごめん、もう言うこと聞くから。
I have to shut the game down. I have to.
立ち直った。
I have
そう
to.
だ、お前ならできる。何？なんか
I'm here.
ホラーゲームみたいになってる。
Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it?
説教が始まった。
That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
おーとととととととい
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
あ
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting
こいつもう意地でも俺左に入れるつもりだな。
the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All
あ、
right.
お前と俺のコンクラベは始まってんだ
Stanley
よ。
came to a set of two open doors. He entered the
俺
door
結構
on
根
his
気強い
left.
から。結構根気強いよ。
No! Why did you do that?
わー
Hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing
ダメか
responsibly
な
and
永久ループか
always
なこ
putting
れ
the story first.
もうちょっと
I'm
もうちょっと
quite
試させてくだ
sure
さ
you'll
い
be able to task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
もうちょっとね
All right.
戦いたいな。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
あ、はい左はいはいはいずずいずずい
No! Why did you do that?
ダメかな
Quickly,
ダメかなこれ
behave exactly as Stanley would.
ダメだこれ
Means choosing responsibly.
分かった分かったもう行くもう行くもう行くもう
I'm
もう行
quite
く
sure
もう行
you'll
く
be
分かっ
up to the task. Just
は
follow
い
my lead and you'll be
元
fine.
気にやりま
All
す
right.
はい
When Stanley came to a set of
今度こそ
two
左
open
にちゃんと入ります
doors,
ね
he entered the door on his left.
はい僕は逆らいませんもうナレーションの方にははい来ましたよほらほらよかったねほらほら来たよかったねはい来ました
Yet there was not a single person
Oh,
here
yeah.
either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Oh.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer
上司のオ
there.
フィスHow to solve this 読めない何の会議してたんですかねでもなんか仕事の会議をしてたっぽいですね一般の人は何求めてるのかみたいなこと書いてますねはいはいいきますよブルームなんとかだえい
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to
上
his
の階の
boss's
上司のオフィ
office.
スおうなんか一本道になっちゃったねおいここすごいななんか雰囲気が変わったねだいぶ上司のオフィスはどこですかここかなはいはい来ましたよ
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
暗号を口にするどういうことどういうことここで
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver
口に
right
するって
there
どういう
on
こ
the
と
wall.
口にするってどういうこと口にできない
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you?
どうやって口
Please
にする
speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial
のどうやっ
step.
て入れんのよナイトシャークでこれボイチャがここに
Okay,
繋がってるわけじゃないん
fine.
で
You're not gonna do
Oh.
it. But you know what?
で
It's
逆らってないん
pretty
だよ
humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
おなんだこれスタンリーを上から見てる世界どこに来たなんかまずいとこに来ちゃったよチエンドえなんかクレジット始まった。スタンリーあんな顔してんだな。スタンリーはそこにいるんだけどさ。魂がここにいるんで、スタンリー動かないよ。ああ戻された最初の部屋に戻ったおさっきのそこ飛び降りたいよね
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
なるほど左ルートは割と一本道だね抵抗できないような
Eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
こっち行くっていうのも手なんだねこっち行ってないもんねさっき
Stanley was so bad at following directions.
ちょっとね俺あそこ気になるんだよすごい
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
そんなことないよ
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing
行けないかなあそこ行けないかな
But the fact is that the
そこ行きたいんだよ
story
あそ
has
こ
been about nothing but you all this time.
行けるか行けるかこれ行きたい行きたい行きたいなんとか行くよ
Someone you
おい
What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have
Really?
for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you. To show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
Chance,
Give me a chance.
とりあえずこっち何があるか見
Now
させて
listen
なんだこれ
carefully, this is important.
赤と青だ
Stanley walked through the red door.
ドラえもんカラー
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red
は
door.
ーいはーい
I still don't think we're communicating properly.
やろう
Stanley walked through
矢印目いっぱい
the door.
え
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley.
はい好きにしてい
You
い
want to know so badly what's out there? You
そう
want
な
to
んだよ
find
そうなの
out
そうな
what
の
lies at the end of this road
そう
you've
そうそうそう
chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
止めないで
You
な
see,
んだこりゃ
there's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first
開
place.
発用テクスチャ
Broken
ー
rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
そうかこれ
Was it
作り
worth
かけだったんだこ
ruining
の
the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours.
新しい
What would have made
展開は
this
見れ
game
たよ
better?
ね
What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far.
ギルツリーとかあん
Tell you
の
what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback.
新しいデザイン
There we go.
Oh.
A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before.
前のバージョンより断然進化した気がするとやってみ。おう。うん。いいのこれ、ここで。断然進化っつって。なんかちょっとこう、ハーフライフ感が出てきたようです。
I'm going to stop you there. Now,
Please rate your
Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some
このゲームは良くなっ
critical
たと思い
feedback
ま
here.
せんか？正直になってみて。そうな、まあ、良くなったっていうか、まあ、展開は面白いと思うけどね。まだ普通かな。
Oh, well, now this is useful. You didn't like it, but you didn't totally hate it either.
そうだね。
You
ちょっと良くなっ
enjoyed
たと思う。
it, perhaps is the correct term. It didn't cause you excruciating pain. Big steps we've made here
そうだね。
today, Stanley. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one.
新しいバー
Let's
ジョン
take a look.
おう。なんだこりゃ。スタンリーパラブル、ワールドワイドリーダーボード。はあ。何これ。あれか。おー。俺は一体何位なのこれ。ビリなのああ。お前だけか。お前だけだと。こんな時間かかってんのは。はい。
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors?
君が、
Again, honest answers, please.
やる気は、まあ、ビリだからな。
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been
あ、マジ
working
で
on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it
見
some
る見る見
play
る見
testing.
る。
You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
出して出して。
Let me boot it up.
なんだこれ。
This game, the baby crawls left
赤ちゃんが危険に向かって左にハイハイして進んできます。君はボタンをクリックして赤ちゃんを右に戻してください。
It's a very meaningful game. All about the desperation and
家
tedium
庭
of
生活の
endlessly
要求に永遠に向き合うような
completing
退屈と絶望さをよく表していま
I
す。
think the art
お前失礼だな、それ。なんか赤ちゃん生まれたら人生終わりだ
But
み
of
たいな。
course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been
あ、
playing
そうなん
it
だ。
for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure
こ
it's
れを4時
effective?
間はちょっとプ
Be
レイで
sure
き
to
ない。
keep notes on your experience.
ああ、燃えちゃった
You
よ。
heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to
いや、俺赤ちゃん別に嫌いじゃない。
Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try.
別に俺サイコパスじゃないよ。
I'm done.
ごめん。
Your input was
あなた押す
extremely
押す。
valuable.
はい、押した。
Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game?
あ、そんなことない。お前のゲームは嫌いじゃないよ、俺。面白いと思う、すごい。
Yes.
何
This seems
何
like
される
it'll
の？
work. Let's give it a shot.
何されんの？お、マインクラフトは
Any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had
動
absolutely
かせる。
nothing to do
あれ、ジャンプができない。
But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be?
おー、マインクラフトや、これ大丈夫なのこれ。
From now on, I will only create
君のために物を作りません。
artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm
私は家を建
going
築す
to
る。
build a house.
家作んのそれ。土で。
This will go here. No, here. And then
俺手伝うよ。できない、何もできないんだけど。
let's see, what does it
家しょぼいな。
yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes.
あ、ドアついた。
It's complete.
いいじゃん、いいじゃん、いいじゃん。
I made this, Stanley.
なんだお前この野
Look
郎。
at it. Gaze upon my work
お前
of
こんな
art
しょぼい家
and
で
feel
お前そんな
ashamed at your
威張られて
own
も。
inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the
すげえ
experience.
な。
Please,
マインクラフトなんか
stand
出てくる
aside
と思わ
and
な
make
かった。
yourself comfortable.
入れないよ。入れない。あ、入れた。
Isn't it grand?
Yay.
Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must
そう
be
そうだね。
built
採掘行
out
こうよ。
of diamond. Diamond everything.
行く行く。
Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
ああ、道が開いた。やったね。ゾンビも出てくるかな。